biggest South Asian media group, Y Media.
Hi, this is Sia. Today we are here at the Peel Police Headquarters with Deputy Chief Marc Andrews. Thank you so much for being here. Just for our city, so much is going on. Any update on whatever the crimes that have been happening, especially the extortion charges?
Thank you very much for that question. What we've seen in terms of the upsurge in extortions is unprecedented, and we understand and share the community's concern and the angst that these incidents have created. What we can do is assure the community that we've taken significant steps towards addressing them. We stood up a very coordinated task force composed of 29 members, focused solely on the extortions and the violence associated with these extortions. That task force has been in existence for a little over 2 months now, and we've had 8 arrests and laid a number of charges, executed a number of search warrants, and we're still in the very early stages of this investigation. And I can't emphasize enough to the community that we continue to work diligently, not only in the region of Peel, but with our partners across the GTA and nationally in other provinces, inclusive of Alberta and Lower Mainland BC, who are also experiencing a very, very similar upsurge and uptick in extortion and crime related to extortions.
And after the 8 arrests, were there any more arrests made?
There's been a series of arrests. There was 2 arrests, then 4 arrests, then 2 more arrests. So there's been a series of arrests, and I would say that the community can expect additional arrests. Well, we've conducted a number of search warrants that has given us evidence, some of it in electronic hardware that we're still sorting through, and we're obtaining the proper authorizations to search these, which can be time consuming and requires some technical expertise. And we're getting these pieces of hardware searched, and we're confident they will reveal significant pieces of information that will help us to identify and apprehend and charge additional individuals.
Okay. And there are also questions out there that, the South Asian community that's doing this, are they related to anybody in India that they're working with? Or do you think this is just like a local crime that's going on here?
We don't believe it's simply a local crime. As I said earlier, there's indications that the similar types of crimes are occurring, not only in our local region, but in Calgary and Edmonton and Abbotsford, Surrey, Vancouver, Lower Mainland BC. We've also had some connectivity with cities in the U.S. Most prominent amongst those has been Sacramento. When we're in touch with police agencies in all those jurisdictions, we've also, based on what we've done in Peel, other agencies have stood up similar task forces, to replicate what we're doing. We were the leaders in putting that process in place, and recently the RCMP has stood up a task force of their own that's not investigating the crimes that are occurring in local jurisdictions like ours, but are working to coordinate the information that's coming from all of these local investigations and incorporating them into national scope investigations. We don't have anything at this point that indicates coordination. When I say that, what we're seeing is that the perpetrators and the victims are all South Asian, and there's been some information that would indicate that there's connection to organized crime figures in India, but we haven't been able to make that definitive link that those people are not just using the notoriety of those individuals as another way to terrorize people, but we're not excluding that, and we're very aware that the concerns of the community around that piece and the sensitivity of the community around that piece is something that we need to address. So we're very alive to that, and as the investigation moves forward, if it takes us in that direction, we'll communicate that to the community. If it doesn't, we'll communicate that as well.
Okay. And also there have been several drive-by shootings in Brampton. Do you think that's connected with the extortion charges?
So, first off, the violence that we see, whether it's related to extortions or to other criminogenics, is incredibly concerning. Mm-hmm. The prevalence of firearms on our streets is of tremendous concern to all of our citizens and all of our police services. Mm-hmm. There has been a number of shootings in the region, not just in Brampton, and sometimes these shootings can get conflated with the extortions. Some are related to the extortions. There's been a number. I think we're up to 9 or 10 of those shootings, but there's been a number of shootings that have occurred that are definitively not related to the extortions and are related to other criminogenic factors. But at the end of the day, whether they're related to the extortions or not, the use of firearms in our communities is not tolerated by police. It shouldn't be tolerated by anyone. And the expectation is that anyone that is using a firearm should face the full weight of the law. Mm-hmm. And the proliferation of firearms in our streets is of incredible concern to us.
Mm-hmm. So what can be done, or what is being done to bring the guns under control that are available, like just on the street?
Well, this has been an issue for us for some time now. Mm-hmm. Let's have a drink of water here. The fact that we're seizing a firearm every 36 to 48 hours, frontline police officers, uniformed police officers, are seizing firearms at that kind of cadence is really concerning. There are a number of steps that have been taken in conjunction with our policymakers and policy shapers to address that piece. But there's some advocacy that still needs to be done. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where the community and media such as yourself, community leaders and community groups have a role to play in advocating for stricter sentences, and, much more control at the borders, and looking for ways to take firearms off the streets before they become involved in criminal activity, and removing the desire from our young people to be associated with firearms.
Mm-hmm. And my next question, as we talk about the law, there was an arrest made in this extortion case, and that person was bailed out, I believe, after a couple of days and is out again. So should the community be concerned about that somebody like that can go in and be out on bail in a couple of days?
Well, the justice system has a number of different pieces to it. The police are one piece of the justice system, and we're responsible for investigating, laying charges, and assisting in the prosecution process. But other segments of the justice system have their own responsibilities. What I can say is that the individual that was arrested has strict conditions, and he's abiding by those conditions, if he does not abide by those conditions, inclusive of not residing in our region, not residing in the region that was impacted by his crimes, if he contravenes those conditions, he will be rearrested and charged appropriately. But the community and community leaders and community groups have the opportunity to advocate for changes in bail. I know that at the OACP and at the leadership level here in Peel, we've advocated strongly for for bail to be looked at a little differently than it currently is, dependent on the nature of the offence and the violence associated with the offence.
Perfect. And finally, do you have any message for our viewers today?
My message for the community is that we really understand the concern that the community feels around these particular extortions and some of the other criminogenics that we're seeing in our community. We understand the impact that violence has on not just the victims, but those around them, whether it's other business owners or residents that live around a victim whose home has been shot at. You can be confident that the Peel Regional Police is doing absolutely everything it can to mitigate the violence. We will work with and in the community to ensure your safety, and we want to hear from you if you're impacted and work with you to find a way to make sure that you stay safe. Community safety and well-being is not something that is the responsibility alone of the police. It's something that we all have a role to play in.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
The biggest South Asian media group, Y Media.